So you're okay with your daughter being gay?
I would prefer that she be a lesbian
Why is that?
because men are terrible. Men are pigs. Men are dogs, and I know this because that I'm a man.
And whose team is this? Is this your team or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. I'm Andy Carlson, your host, and Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine. I'm a father, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but you don't either there, little squirt. Let's try and learn something together today. Website is dadmodepod.com, Twitter at dadmodepod, or just use the hashtag dadmode. And with me again today, sidekick, minion, sergeant at arms, as it were, Uncle Nick, on Twitter at Nickerson. Hey.
Hey, how's it going, Andy?
Now, you've had an eventful morning. Full disclosure, we're recording this on a Sunday, so why don't you tell us your normal Sunday schedule?
Well, typically every Sunday I like to wake up, usually 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, shower, and then I like to go start my morning off with a nice warm breakfast at Keys Cafe in Roseville.
Mm-hmm.
Really good food, pretty reasonable prices. And typically I do around, I see a lot of the family in the Twin Cities area. They all live relatively close to Roseville.
Now, are they happy to see you, or they're like, oh, it's up in our time with Nick today?
I think they're happy. It's not like I make my visits long. I have like a 10-15 minute window where I just come and say hi, how's it going, what's new? And once we get all those pleasantries out, it's like, okay, I'm done. See you guys later. Next week. I'm pretty boring, so.
And you went to the zoo?
Yes, today was a special occasion. I went to the zoo with my nieces.
And that is our topic today. Well, no, I'm just kidding. Our topic today is actually a little of a controversial one. Well, at least the title is going to look controversial because I'm a dude up that way just for the clicks. And the topic is, what if my daughter's a lesbian? Now, at first blush, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like, oh, this GD Neanderthal is going to talk about gay bashing his daughter and blah, blah, blah. But no, that's absolutely like the farthest from the truth. Gay, straight, lesbian, other thing, transgender. I don't really care. Like, I'm just going to love my daughter for who she is either way. And I think that's how it should be. But I wanted to dive into a little bit of the minutia of, all the aspects that surround it. How society has sort of shifted to today as opposed to like when you and I were growing up or even farther back. And yeah, I just wanted to have a overall conversation about this because it is possible. I mean, Mugsy could have been born a lesbian, and yes, I do firmly believe that you are born that way. You don't choose to be gay. Like, you don't wake up one morning, have some coffee, have a little toast, and be like, I'm gonna have sex with guys today. What I'm gonna do. Make a big choice. Never happened to you, Nick?
No.
Oh no, sorry. At Keys breakfast, just finish up the side of bacon. It's like, guys today.
It's always after breakfast. You have to have that, like, you gotta have something to eat and then a warm cup of coffee, and then you'll make your decision. Should I be gay? Should I be straight? Spin a effing wheel and just like, oh, this is what the choice is going to be today.
Now, I do understand that there are some parents out there, whether it be how they were raised or their religious beliefs or a combination of both, who, if their son was gay or their daughter was a lesbian, well, I guess gay works both ways. Like, if one of their children were gay, they would absolutely try to rehabilitate them. I try and send them to one of those scared straight camps. I know that's not the technical term, but it's the general term. Or just completely cut them out of their lives. And I just never understood that line of thinking.
It's, because people, obviously, because we're talking about the past now, like previous generations, I mean, things had to stay traditional. It's tradition. A husband and wife get married, they have children, they expect their children, boys and girls, to marry significant others in order to reproducing the population. There was such a strong mindset forever, and literally it wasn't until I think the 60s and 70s you kind of opened up a little bit of understanding that there are people who like the same sex. And we're now in an age, 2015, where it's much more widely accepted. But it's what's unfortunate is that it's still not accepted in many parts of our country. A lot of people are still single-minded to that traditional family role, and it's appalling.
Now, it is appalling to a degree, but it's also really hard in the age of the internet and social media to be a homophobe, to be racist, to hate transgendered people and like that, because then the internet mafia will just come after you. You think back to like Donald Sterling, Hulk Hogan, as far as like the racism go, and I can't think of a great example off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's many homophobes, especially with the whole Caitlyn Jenner transgender thing. That's actually a bit of a tongue twister. That's what she said. I kind of like it in the fact that it is, I don't want to say progressing. Don't want to use the term enlightening people, because that means that one way thing is absolutely right. But just accepting people for who they are, I'm glad that's pushing it that way. But the whole internet like shaming thing, I don't really care for that.
Internet shaming?
Yeah. Like if you're a person with a high profile or celebrity media type, and you have one slip up which could be construed as homophobic or racist or even xenophobic, you'll be crucified by the internet mafia.
Okay, yeah, all right. I understand what you're saying now.
Hashtag boycott Nickerson.
All the things I just happen to say on Twitter and Facebook that sound homophobic and whatnot.
Well, all right, so this is a bit off topic, but you could be like, Karl Anthony Towns is really good at basketball. Tweet. And then they'd be like, oh, he's just saying that black people are all good at basketball. How racist of you. Hashtag boycott Nickerson. Actually, I'm gonna get that trending now.
What? Boycott Nickerson? Yeah, try it.
Yeah. But we veered a bit off topic, and we kind of do that. But as far as going back to like when we were growing up, I think we actually never had a conversation with my parents or grandparents about homosexuals. I mean, it just never really entered the conversation. But then you grow up like middle school, high school. There's a couple of kids in the grades like around me who we suspected were gay, and I really hate to say it, but they were treated a bit unfairly by some of the high school people. Like me personally, I really didn't care one way or the other. Even though I didn't have much of a education as far as what gay really meant or was. I mean, I guess queer as folk was out at that time, or queer art for the straight guy. That was basically a small town Minnesota kid's introduction to gay people. Well, I guess Willa Grace too. But they did turn out to be gay, and they're still very cool, functioning, normal human beings. And there was a stigma, I think, attached to being gay. I think that's much lessened now, but I think there's still a segment of the population that doesn't accept it.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I have no idea.
I just heard a really weird sound effect. I'm sorry. Sorry, continue.
No, that was basically it. I was just talking about like how back in my day, like homosexuality wasn't really explained.
Oh, it wasn't for me and my generation either. But
we're the same generation, but okay.
Whatever. I'm way better generation than you. Sorry. my example of generation is because I know you're more country folk and I'm more city folk.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna say and I hate to admit this as growing up in the '90s, being not like a non-popular kid, but like having a group of friends, yeah, when someone like we called someone who was like the not cool person, I hated that we would use the term gay as that term, and it's really unfortunate because it really bashes that community of people, and I actually I never knew any gays in middle school, high school
Hmm.
at all. I don't think it was until college when I actually met gay people, and they're fine people. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't know. I just
Well, we need to like rephrase this a second because it's really hard to put it in a phrase that almost didn't sound demeaning. It's like it's almost like we're saying we're surprised that they're normal and cool, but that shouldn't be that way. I mean, they're just regular people like you and I that just choose to be with someone of the same gender as them, and we need to completely rephrase that again because I feel like every time you talk about something controversial, you have to reiterate 17 times, like, I am not homophobic. I do not hate gay people. And if my daughter was, or son, a future son, turns out to be homosexual, I'm not going to hold that against them. I'm not going to love them any less.
how long do you think it'll take before these thoughts will be completely, like shut, like erased from our existence?
I don't know. How long until the South secedes again?
Okay, not to date us at all by any means here, but let's talk about
9/11?
yeah, no, I was saying about like when you have something that's considered different, and as we're talking about, like gays,
Hmm.
which I hate using that term, like that they're different, even though they're just they're normal people with the same, just with different tastes. Okay, I'm totally
Well, I mean,
losing track of
growing
thought.
up to I understand we use the term gay as saying something stupid or tell our friends to stop acting gay, and I think that was just more like how the culture was at the time, where that was just kind of accepted, and also God, what else? Oh, if you really all right, so if you're talking to another guy and you really want to get a rise out of him, use the the secondary F word. You know what I mean? You know what I'm
No,
saying?
secondary F word.
F word number 2.
No,
Yeah,
no.
the one that rhymes with, well, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stop playing dumb. Stop being a, well, there you go. And see,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like that sort of speech can be qualified as hate speech. It's just more ignorance rather than anything, or that's basically it. And I do like that we've moved to a spot where you're teaching your kids in school that it's not okay to call something gay when as a interchangeable word for something stupid. Because even back, I remember even back like middle school and high school, we would call like a teacher being present in the room, and then we'd be like, "This assignment is gay,"
Yeah.
and then he wouldn't say anything. He'd be like, "Hey, shut up and do your work," instead of, "Hey, don't use that term. That's not correct, and it's also disparaging to people who are actually homosexuals."
Hmm. See, I'm wondering if today's kids are getting that type of talking down.
Well, I think they must, because this is the one area where I actually like the overly politically correctness, where it goes too far in like a numer in a number of ways. But this is one where it actually gets it right, because kids got to learn that you can't use gay as a interchangeable term for yada, and you can't definitely should not use the secondary F word.
What are your thoughts on
The
people?
primary F word is fine. That's all cool, but
It literally took me until you corrected me, like Nick, you know what that word is. That I finally get what that second F word is. So.
Nick, stop being gay. No, see, that's how you would talk as a '90s
Yeah.
kid.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely understand.
Uh,
And I like to give myself credit. I never consider, like, when I use the word gay in that way,
Mhm.
I've never meant by any disrespect to any homosexual people out
Yep.
there. It was just the word we use. It was just, like, stop being gay. Like, if someone steals your toys, like, hey, stop being gay. You just like a put down, but it's
Did you have fun at Como Zoo today? No, it was pretty gay. Yeah. But going back to Mugsy, I'm really glad that she's growing up in sort of this day and age, and also she's going to be growing up in a more, I guess, like suburban area, urban/urban area. Even though I guess Farmington Lakeville is not exactly urban, but
it can be.
as opposed to going back, growing up. If she was a lesbian or a gay person growing up in a small town like I grew up in, like 2,000 people, Rushford, Minnesota, and very conservative in its thinking, probably not as open to homosexuals as like a more urban area would be. And yes, that can be both the time and the location. But now that if she is a lesbian and she's growing up in 2015, 2020s, and in a more open and accepting culture, I don't think she would have very many issues at all.
No, I agree with you. But I mean, my big concern, and I know we talk about like we are in a more liberal time, I guess. I use the word liberal for that. A more open time where people where gays and homosexuals are more accepted and a regular occurrence. There's still those I believe it's more religious fanatics aren't hardcore Christians very anti homosexual, and like I think that's, if there's still any case in America that's against homosexuality, it's because of religious beliefs.
I think it's partly religious beliefs. Like we talked earlier on an earlier episode about like when my pastor kind of went off the deep end about the gay marriage thing, but also I think it's just a part of it is like the closed-minded. Is this gay person going to try to gay me? Sort of backwards, ignorant thinking, which is still probably pretty prevalent, but it's more stupidity than actual like beliefs.
Are they gonna gay me?
Yeah.
Don't get your gay cooties on me like that.
Yeah, that was the verb.
Oh man, I don't. Is there any polls out there? Like I mean, I want to know how many people are as open and accepting to homosexuals as like we are. I mean, I'm assuming over.
I think there's a portion that is indifferent to it. Like they're accepting, like, hey, they're people too. Let's let them live their lives, and I think that's the right way to approach it. I mean, it's not like you don't see them as different from just like a heterosexual person or a couple. I mean, we're all on relatively equal footing. Whereas I think there is still like a portion of the population that probably be like, oh, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but I guess you're going to have rights and all that other stuff. Where it's more, they use the term tolerance a lot, except then when you say tolerance, it's like you're accepting of someone else doing wrong, which I think isn't right as well. But I still think there's a segment of the population like that, and that could be the religious, that could be the older segment of the population. But I just want to get to the point of indifference, where it's like, don't start none, won't be none. That whole thing.
Oh yeah, no, that totally makes. Yeah, I like that.
I'm cool.
Like
you're cool. We're cool.
Yeah, I like that word and phrasing. That's great.
Yeah, it's basically like I don't care what you do, who you do. Does it affect me? No. All right, we're cool. Or does it infringe upon anyone else's pursuit of happiness? No, it doesn't. Oh, okay. Well, there you
go. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're okay with your daughter being gay?
I would prefer that she be a lesbian. Because men are terrible. Men are pigs. Men are dogs, and I know this because that I'm a man.
You don't think women are pigs and dogs? I can tell you about an ex-girlfriend or two.
Probably. I mean, because you get that that story of Brittany Griner and Glory Johnson from the WNBA. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like they got married, they had a baby, and then Brittany Griner like domestically assaulted Glory John, or it was a it might
Yeah,
have been both ways. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there was an assault charge. I heard rumors that one of the women was like texting an ex, who I think was a man too.
Yep.
So
Oh, intrigue. That's a Lifetime movie right there.
I know it.
Yep. But overall, I'm not like overly worried about it. Like if I was a parent in like 1985 and I had a young kid who, yeah, even back then you didn't really talk about homosexuality, especially like in a relatively conservative rural Minnesota. I know the Twin Cities is pretty liberal, but yeah, you wouldn't really think about that. But
Sorry, I just want to interrupt quickly. In the 80s, though, remember when gays were talked about, it was AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the big taboo about it. I mean, I know, you and I both born in the 80s, so I mean, kind of, at that same time frame, like we were young for it, but like when AIDS was super big, it was blamed on the gay community. Like only gay people had AIDS. It wasn't until one of the 90s where things got a little bit more tolerant about it.
Then Magic Johnson got AIDS, and then it was like YOLO or HIV. You know what I mean?
HIV, yeah, I think it was HIV. I forgot if he did have full blown AIDS.
Now, I think it would be different still now if I had a son who was gay. Now, it wouldn't change from my perspective. Of course, love him 100% either way. But I think there is still a stigma, especially growing up, around other kids in school. Then you still have actual bullying, because of someone's different or someone seems to be of different sexual orientation. I'm not talking about just like general kids being kids, which they call bullying now because bullying is a complete blanket term that the PC people just roll out, but that's a completely another episode. But I do think if a son is like gay and he knows it from a very early age, that could be kind of difficult, growing up, because it still is a very, masculine driven culture that we have in our youth. And I would be more concerned for the gay son growing up and being happy and being allowed to be happy and finding a nice environment that's accepting, rather than a lesbian daughter. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, and I understand that. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, would it be easier to identify a gay son over a gay daughter? I feel like it would be. I feel like
that's racist.
No, is it? I mean, I don't know. I don't think. All right, I got nothing.
Yeah. Continue. All right, now, how would you react if it's like, say your son or daughter turned out to be gay?
No, no, I'd be perfectly fine with it. It'd be a choice that he or she want to make, and it doesn't affect me. I have nothing against homosexuality, and yeah, I will it will be fine. Yeah.
Now, as far as growing up, and I think it could be a little bit difficult, especially for the gay son, early on growing up, and the whole, it gets better thing definitely applies. But as adults, and then them picking out life partners and stuff like that, and I don't see that much of a difference between that and heterosexual children, dating, going out, getting married, having kids, adopting kids if they're gay. You know what I mean?
Let's go back a little bit to this talking about like if you had your kid, like how old or young do you think you're gonna have to start talking about sexuality? I mean, I was afraid of girls until high school. I mean, girls still scare me today, and I'm a 30-year-old adult. It's
31.
31. Shut up.
Well, I think it'll definitely come up early on, like innocently, like one of their teachers is married Like one of their female teachers has a wife or something like that. Or, Tommy has two dads, or whatever classmate Tommy's. And then, it'll be like, well, some people, some men love men and some women love, women, and that's perfectly fine. And then I'm sure it'll get more in depth, even though, pop culture, social media, I'm sure they'll take care of a lot of my child rearing. Yeah, like this kid's gonna grow up on the internet anyways, and she can just Google whatever questions she really has.
Yeah, it's not going to be that anymore. Like, here you go, Mugsy. Here's your iPad. Just
Here's a
look it
list
up,
of accepted websites. Check it out.
give her 5 minutes so she can break through all the.
Here's a quick
Shelter.
YouTube tutorial and a TED Talk on the subject that you're looking for. Best of luck.
TED Talk.
Yeah. No, I wish we had the same resources as these kids are going to have growing up.
Oh, yeah. No, it would have been. Things would have been way easier.
Yeah. Now, this is going to come off sounding bad. And yes, it is buying into the whole stereotypical thing. But I've never been to a gay wedding. I really want to because it would be fabulous.
Fabulous.
All right, now that's too far.
Oh, my God. That was.
You're a habitual line stepper, Nick.
With this conversation about talking about homosexuality, and I hate to say it, but I don't have any gay friends, it's like, it's not on purpose. I really don't know any. There were a couple people in college that I knew, that were gay, and like I'm friends with them on Facebook, but like none of my close friends, none of the ones.
You're telling me that Facebook friends aren't your real close friends?
Well, I mean, we both know Facebook. There's a lot of people that we know on Facebook, but aren't our best friends. It's just what it is. And I would feel like if my child did come out as a homosexual, I feel so because I'm not around homosexuality that much. I would feel like a noob. I'd be uncomfortable because I wouldn't know I wouldn't want to treat my son or daughter any differently, but I want to be able to accept, and I would want them to not be ashamed, but to embrace it. But I wouldn't be able to help them because I don't know anything about being gay.
Now, the thing is, like, I'm so completely indifferent to gay people, whereas just live your life, just be happy, and why should my beliefs or anyone else's beliefs sort of infringe upon that? Just be who you are. That it's almost to a point where I feel like I can make jokes about it, except the jokes could easily be misconstrued as you're homophobic and you're trying to denigrate homosexuals. And today's PC world and the whole internet mafia we already talked about. That's definitely a tightrope you need to walk. Like that, the gay wedding joke could easily be taken out of context, and then watch it'll be like hashtag boycott Andy because he's a gay basher.
Let's make that.
I said I wanted to go to the gay wedding. It's not like I said I wanted to pick at the gay wedding. Get out of here.
Gay wedding.
Yeah. And, also side note, keep it in the vein of being able to make jokes about it. If Mugsy is a lesbian and is marrying another woman, instead of me paying for a wedding, that's kind of a gray area. I mean, what do we do now? I mean, they're both brides, so we just want to go Dutch. Want to split it? Hey, Chiefy.
What if she's marrying like a millionaire lesbian? Oh man, that'd be phenomenal.
Oh, like a WNBA player?
Yeah,
let's see, again, that's another joke that could be taken completely out of context.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is my goal of this show, is that we're able to discuss serious issues with a touch of humor, because I feel like if you take yourself too seriously, even on serious issues like this, the point gets lost, and I feel like you can glean solid information in a humorous fashion, or attempted humorous fashion, like the Daily Show for so many years.
Attempted, yeah, definitely attempted.
Except the Daily Show is hilarious.
It was great. Did you watch the final episode?
I have not yet.
Oh, I got to see it. It was probably one of the few full episodes I've ever seen of the show. It was nice.
All right. So bottom line, Mugsy, if you're listening to this, 15, 18, 25 years from now, and you're just getting ready to marry the woman of your dreams, let it be known that when you're 2 months old, Daddy doesn't care because he will love you either way. Marry whomever you want, just not Chris Brown.
Hi-oh.
That includes all Chris Browns.
Wait, are these podcasts going to last that long? I mean, do they stay on iTunes forever? Could she listen to us in 18 years?
She could, yes. Libsyn, once you have your monthly stuff, and then it goes to the archive, and it's out there forever.
Interesting. She might not get that Chris Brown joke. You better make sure you emphasize Chris Brown was a very bad person.
Chris Brown was a very bad person. Yeah, he still got women. It's very, very odd. But, yeah, we're kind of out of here for the day. Tell a friend about the show. I mean, that's how we're getting the word out. It's kind of like how we built up Purple for the Win. It's a cult. Well, not a cult, but kind of a cult. Grassroots, groundswell. So just tell a friend. Be like, when you're having your stupid lunch and your conversation with like your relatives or your cousins or coworkers that you don't really care about, and be like, oh, so what have you been doing lately? Listen to the Dad Mode podcast and listen to him crack wise and make quasi-inappropriate homosexual jokes on the episode where he's talking about that he's okay with homosexuals. I mean, that's perfectly fine. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go. Also, Amazon. School is coming up, so school supplies, Amazon, dadmodepod.com, top left corner. Click on it. It'll take you to Amazon through our link. Bookmark that and buy all of your Amazon crap on there. Nick, Di Murphy, who I do Andy Must Die with, she bought a Keurig and a blender through the link today.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
Big time stuff. What's the next thing you're buying, Nick? Pushing Daisies.
I was not buying Pushing Daisies.
Fine.
Nothing as a show. I'm not. Well, I was on Amazon all yesterday. I lost a AC adapter for my FC Twin. That's that old school device that plays Nintendo, Super Nintendo games, and I couldn't find the one that I was giving my brother back to, and I was like, oh god, like I do have to buy another FC Twin. No, if you research enough on Amazon, you can buy an AC adapter built just for that. They sell them individually. That's what's awesome about Amazon.
That is what's awesome about Amazon, and he's getting his AC adapter and helping AC me keep the lights on around this mother. Yeah, just support the show. If you like us, help out that way. But yeah, we're gone. Nick, any parting thoughts?
Nope. Be who you are. Follow your heart. I accept you however you are. If other people don't, you know what? Tell them to go to hell. That's all.
If you believe in hell.
There is a hell, trust me.
Or just tell them to go to Cleveland.
Whoa, easy now.
Yeah. And we're growing. Help us climb the charts. Subscribe. Give us a rate. Give us a 5-star review. Well, I guess that'd be a rate. Well, you know what I mean. On iTunes, help us climb the charts, and we're getting more and more listeners every week. I really want to credit myself, but I actually think it's Nick.
Oh, you're too nice.
Keeps people come back.
I think it's usually you, though.
All right, follow us on Twitter at DadModePod. Uncle Nick is at Nickason, and I'm at Andy Carlson Show. Website, as always, dadmodepod.com. But we're out here. Be a man, be a father, go dad mode. We'll see you next time. Don't start none. Won't be none. See you later.
Think the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go dad mode. The music is created and produced by deeB. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/deeB.